What is up, YouTube? Man, I'm going hard on this Katt Williams reveal exactly what Oprah and Steve Harvey did to Bernie Mac. Now, it kills me how Oprah name keep coming up in this stuff, man, like the queen gatekeeper. Oprah's her school. Then she had some crazy dude that was supposed to be healing people, had some powers or something. And next thing you know, he ended up doing some to people. Yeah. Now all of a sudden, Steve Harvey, oh my God, man. It's too much smoke around there. It gotta be some fires. It's too much smoke around there with Oprah and Steve Harvey. Come on, man. We ain't heard nothing in this daggone Diddy case yet. Y'all hit that subscribe button. We still looking. We still looking, though. We still hoping and we praying. I'm not hoping these people go to jail if they ain't done nothing. Now Tyler Perry, who was around Oprah, is now got a court case. That's the only way you can get in is to wear a dress and let them know that, man, God, is that part of your job? I can't do that, man. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna keep trying it my way. I can't get in the bed with another man. I can't do that. I'm sorry. I can't do it. And it's for the record, Tyler, if some man would pull on my underwear, you best believe they're gonna be bleeding. Y'all hit that subscribe button and hit that bell. Let's check it out.
I know the real Bernie Mac stories, and I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts.
Whoa.
You don't do your material around a lot of comedians. That's like stealing in front of the police. They sit on the side, ooh, that's funny. Next thing you know, you see it on HBO or something.
And I know the truth. You think I'm gonna let you on Bernie and then come get me? I'm the next king?
You think you know the story of Bernie Mac, but what if I told you the truth is darker than you ever imagined?
I know the real Bernie Mac stories, and I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts.
Bernie was always trying to warn us. Hollywood wasn't a place for the faint of heart, but just who was he trying to expose? And why did people like Oprah Winfrey and Steve Harvey stay silent as he battled an industry that chews people up and spits them out?
Why? Because the whole time Bernie was here, you was acting like you was funnier than him. The reason you was supposed to go last is because it was your tour. Tell the truth. It was Steve's tour.
Did Bernie Mac expose too much? Was he silenced for warning others about Hollywood's dirty secrets?
You don't do your material around a lot of comedians. That's like stealing in front of the police. They sit on the side, ooh, that's funny. Next thing you know, you see it on HBO or something.
Let's take a deep dive into how Katt Williams' confessions are pulling back the curtain on Bernie's life and final days, exposing who was really in his corner and who was pulling the strings. This goes deeper than you might think. Was his fate sealed because he dared to reject their twisted games? And just how deep does the Hollywood underbelly go? Bernie Mac was never shy about telling it like it is. Long before he was Hollywood's go-to comedian, he was warning young actors and comedians about the dangers of fame. And he wasn't afraid to call out the twisted pressures put on entertainers.
Wow.
From refusing to participate in the notorious Hollywood Kids on Laps antics to calling out Hollywood's obsession with control, Bernie's words seemed to ruffle more than a few feathers.
Did you wait?
No.
It would be her, huh?
He warned of a system designed to exploit talent, break down spirits, and leave people desperate for approval. But while he was vocal, his warnings only intensified during his last years as he started to clash with major Hollywood icons. It's now surfacing that Oprah and Steve Harvey may have had a vested interest in silencing Bernie's voice.
Why? Because the whole time Bernie was here, you was acting like you was funnier than him. The reason you was supposed to go last is because it was your tour. Tell the truth. It was Steve's tour.
Now, it's no secret that Oprah and Steve Harvey run in the same circles as some of Hollywood's biggest players, including controversial figures like Diddy, who has long been rumored to throw secretive, exclusive parties attended by only Hollywood elites. And Katt Williams has made it clear, Bernie was not a fan of these gatherings. Instead, he spoke out against the manipulative tactics and bizarre rituals that often left stars questioning their own values. Bernie Mac had a vision he thought would lift up his fellow comedians, but his truth-telling began to alienate him in an industry full of secrets. One of his early warnings? The culture in Hollywood. In an infamous interview, Bernie hinted at how comedians would be expected to compromise their values to reach stardom, and he wasn't shy about making his disdain clear. But what came next would take a darker turn. Katt Williams, in various interviews, has pointed out that Bernie's honesty about these disturbing industry practices put him on a dangerous path. Katt, who considered Bernie both a friend and mentor, explains that the Hollywood machine doesn't take kindly to those who expose its methods. And his fears weren't unfounded. Katt himself has publicly fought similar battles. But the twist? Bernie refused to back down, even as he became a target. From overworking him while he was visibly sick to ignoring his basic health needs, Hollywood pushed Bernie to the limit. There were stories of him forced to continue filming and performing, even when it was clear he was unwell. Stories his daughter has corroborated. This wasn't just fame, it was exploitation. And while Bernie's fans rallied behind him, many of Hollywood's powerful figures, including Oprah and Steve Harvey, stayed silent. Bernie Mac faced numerous challenges in his life, and early on, he had to endure some particularly difficult moments. One of the most heartbreaking events in his life was the loss of his mother, brother, and father. His mother's battle with cancer played a significant role in shaping his life. During an interview with Howard Stern, Bernie revealed the emotional impact of his mother's illness. He recounted a moment when he came home excited after hitting a home run in a baseball game. However, when he entered his home and saw his mother, who wasn't fully covered, he noticed that she had a large scar on her chest. This was a moment of shock and realization for Bernie as he saw that something was seriously wrong. His mother had a mastectomy, and Bernie was frozen with fear.
I was frozen, because I just kept looking. And she said, close the door.
Bernie's mother tried to shield him from the truth, asking him to close the door and not inquire further. It was a painful and confusing experience for a young Bernie, who turned to his grandmother for answers. She, too, directed him back to his mother, who continued to avoid discussing her condition. Despite the emotional turmoil, Bernie's mother prepared for her eventual passing by writing a 10-page letter to Bernie's aunt, explaining her death and offering guidance on how to take care of him. In this letter, she expressed confidence in Bernie's ability to persevere. The interviewer acknowledged that this was an emotionally charged story and appreciated seeing this vulnerable side of Bernie beyond his public persona as a funny man. Bernie emphasized the importance of being true to oneself and not being afraid to show vulnerability. He noted that his strength came from accepting himself for who he was. Well, young Bernie eventually grew up, and with growth came a new set of challenges. You see, there have been claims that Hollywood allegedly tried to force him to do strange things. Before achieving fame in Hollywood, the multi-talented comedian faced a challenging journey to stardom. He was a dedicated family man, juggling a variety of odd jobs, including janitorial work, cooking, and even moving furniture, all in pursuit of his comedic dreams. These early struggles laid the foundation for his relentless pursuit of success, and little did he know that the path ahead would demand a significant price. His breakthrough moment arrived with an appearance on HBO's Def Comedy Jam in 1992, a groundbreaking show that catapulted him into the spotlight. This was a pivotal turning point in his career, demonstrating that dreams could be realized even in one's 30s. However, it was his subsequent performance that left an indelible mark on the landscape of contemporary urban comedy. As he continued to climb the ladder of success, Mac began to realize that there were certain compromises the industry expected him to make. These compromises could be perceived as strange and ethically challenging. It's been claimed that Hollywood pressured him to engage in activities that went against his principles and values. Looking back, one might speculate that his unwillingness to cross those lines could be connected to the tragic fact that he is no longer with us. In fact, one fan revealed some of the shady things that Bernie was allegedly made to do in a tweet which they captioned, "The agendas we see in Hollywood are not new. They have been trying to push this stuff on black shows for a while." Here's an old behind-the-scenes clip of a promotional shoot for the Bernie Mac show. They tried to get a teenage boy to sit on Bernie's lap, and he shut that down.
On the lap, you're sitting on Did you? Wait.
No.
It would be her. Abby, isn't Jeremy on the other side?
At first, it seemed like Mac might have been the only comedian that...
And what makes it so bad is he's supposed to... JJ back on Good Times back in the day had that hat and that same sweater type thing. He looked like a little trying to play as a JJ. I don't know. I don't get why he needs to sit on his lap in the first place.
Promotional shoot for the Bernie Mac show.
That's crazy,
they tried to
man.
get a teenage boy to sit on Bernie's lap, and he shut that down.
On the lap. You're sitting. Did you? Wait.
No.
It would be her. Abby, isn't Jeremy on the other side?
At first, it seemed like Mac might have been the only comedian that had to deal with the horrible parts of the industry, but it turns out that Mac might have just been the first to have figured it out, as several other entertainers have come out with crazy tales. One of those is Dave Chappelle, and would you believe me if I told you this man up and walked away from a $50 million deal in 2004? Well, let's just say Dave also had his own fair share of Hollywood's dark side. The actor and comedian spoke with Oprah in 2006, and it turns out that his experience might have even been worse than Mac's. During the interview, Chappelle shared insights on the dismissive and sick culture within Hollywood, which allowed many celebrities to be dismissed as being crazy when they brought up certain industry issues involving men wearing dresses.
I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here.
There has been a
dress in here.
decades-long stigma in the African-American community on men who wear dresses. The topic surrounding and cross-dressing continues as the gender lines are being questioned, and for many, wearing a dress does not necessarily define their... In Hollywood, several black male comedians have portrayed feminine characters that wear dresses on television. While these characters like Shanina Jenkins from Martin and Medea have long been funny to some people, others have deemed these portrayals emasculating to the black man. And Chappelle, just like Mac, is one of those people. Chappelle gave an account to Oprah Winfrey during their interview about how everyone from the film's writers to the producers on a movie set attempted to persuade him to wear a dress.
And you put this dress on, and what? It's prostitute. Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion.
The comedian, who shared that he was uncomfortable with doing so, described the insistent attempts from the controlling parties of the set, who all said all of the greats did it at some point. But no matter how hard they tried, Dave Chappelle would not budge. The experience led Chappelle, who admitted to being a conspiracy theorist to a degree, to feel as though there was an agenda to get prominent African-American actors in Hollywood to wear women's clothing. The A Star is Born actor begs the question, all the comics that I've seen, Strong Brothers, why they be putting us in these dresses?
It's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress.
Unlike Chappelle, who was very vocal about not wanting to wear women's clothing, many other great comedians have opted to do so. For example, actor and comedian Eddie Murphy has done so on more than one occasion in notable films such as The Nutty Professor and its sequel, Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps, and Norbit. In any case, Hollywood allegedly did way more to Bernie than just force him to do things he wasn't comfortable doing. According to Reginald Ballard, Bernie was also being overworked by Hollywood.
Well, you had said that you felt like they worked him to death. Because he was doing Ocean's 11 at the time?
I believe so, man.
Reginald Ballard, who shared the screen with Bernie Mac in the star-studded ensemble of Ocean's 11, spoke candidly about the toll that Hollywood's relentless demands took on the beloved comedian. Ballard recounted that during the production of Ocean's 11, Bernie Mac confided in his fellow cast members about the exhaustive schedule he was enduring. He told us that he was doing so much, Ballard revealed. When Brad Pitt broke his ankle and production had to be delayed, it cut into Bernie's time for other projects like Guess Who. He had to rush and try to do a lot of stuff, and he felt that they didn't understand that it wasn't his fault.
They put him in a compromise position that he really didn't want to be in.
This revelation sheds light on the grueling pace at which Bernie Mac was forced to operate, juggling multiple film projects and promotional commitments back to back. The pressures of maintaining a demanding work schedule while navigating health issues began to take a toll on the comedian's well-being. Ballard further disclosed that Bernie Mac's health was a constant concern during the filming of Ocean's 11. The actor had been hospitalized prior to shooting due to health complications and was taking medications, including prednisone, which caused noticeable changes in his appearance. You know, we used to do a scene and he had to go upstairs to his dressing room to get oxygen, Ballard recalled. He'd come back and do the scene again. He was basically working while he was sick. Aside from this, there were speculations that Bernie was overworking himself so as to prove his value in the industry. Fast forward to 2000, a comedic spectacle graced the spotlight, inducing fits of laughter and etching its legacy into the annals of stand-up history. Directed by the visionary Spike Lee, the original Kings of Comedy featured the uproarious talents of Steve Harvey, D.L. Hewley, Cedric the Entertainer, and Bernie Mac. Shot over 2 unforgettable nights in Charlotte, North Carolina, this comedic masterpiece not only delved into the intricacies of African American culture, race relations, religion, and family, but also left an enduring mark on the comedy landscape. The original Kings of Comedy was more than a film. It evolved into a cultural phenomenon that transcended racial boundaries, uniting audiences in laughter. The film's success paved the way for numerous spin-offs, attesting to the enduring influence of its 4 comedic maestros. However, beneath the surface of this showbiz success lurked some undisclosed dark secrets. For starters, hushed rumors, which have circulated for years, hint that Mac's career might not have reached its full potential due to alleged tensions amongst these comedians. Cedric, who was a part of the tour, along with D.L. Hewley, Steve Harvey, and Bernie Mac, confirmed that the 2 comedians did not see eye to eye. Yeah. I mean, you know, they were the kind of guys that they both alpha males, you know, like they just saw it different. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they was able to get through it, he said, while on Shannon Sharp's podcast club, Shay Shay. Cedric added that because of the feud, it had prevented them from doing another tour. I think, of course, that was, you know, definitely a contributing circumstance, but I also think that it had a lot to do with the promoter on the thing because he got a bigger head than all of us. The dude that put us all together started to really think was about him. So it started to be that. So it was a lot of those kinds of elements.
Is that one of the reasons why you didn't do? You did the first part, the second part.
I think, of course, that was, definitely a contributing.
In 2003, Mac had an interview with GQ magazine where he accused Harvey of being jealous of him and trying to sabotage him for certain movie roles. Harvey acknowledged his feelings about the GQ article and admitted his anger about it. I was upset at first because it just wasn't true, said Harvey. Me and Bernie had a lot of good times together, and then this article in GQ came out and put all this vicious stuff in there. Harvey also acknowledged that he spoke with Mac about the interview. B said he never said it. I had to take him at his word for it. After Mac's passing, Harvey revealed that his widow, Rhonda McCullough, helped him get beyond the feud. Rhonda, of all people, knows the truth. It was a cleansing moment for me because I was able to let go of a lot of stuff. No one knows what was actually behind the beef. However, Harvey's admission of having a cleansing moment might imply that something was there indeed. Anyway, years after Bernie's passing, Katt Williams has become one of the few in Hollywood willing to continue his friend's legacy of speaking out. Katt Williams certainly shook the table with his appearance on Club Shay Shay on January 4th, but he saved most of his vitriol for Steve Harvey, the same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had, he said in the interview. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit, and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit, he continued. Then you ask him, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same that hated on Bernie Mac with this same thing. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You have to have range. Following this, Williams also revealed why he turned down a role in the original Kings of Comedy. I know the truth. You think Emma let you ish on Bernie and then come get me? I'm the next king? Why? Because the whole time Bernie was here, you was acting like you was funnier than him. The reason you was supposed to go last was because it was your tour. Tell the truth, it was Steve's tour, Williams added.
Y'all thought y'all had one over on him. You thought he was black and ugly, and you were good looking, and he couldn't make it because you did. And that ain't the way comedy works. The king is the funniest.
Now, this is not the first time that Katt Williams has spoken about the late comedian Bernie Mac. In a previous interview with Vlad TV, Katt Williams delved deep into the enigmatic life of Bernie Mac, alleging that the Hollywood moguls who reaped massive profits from his success actually harbored a seething hatred for him.
And I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts.
Damn.
And that was our king. That was our real king.
Despite the widespread perception of Mac as a comedic titan, his journey unfolded more like a twisted narrative than a fairy tale. Williams' eyebrow-raising assertions allude to a murky plot, casting Bernie Mac as a casualty in Hollywood's unrelenting pursuit of wealth, with alleged puppeteers profiting off his skills while treating him disdainfully. As Williams delved into the narrative's layers, he floated the notion that the rise and fall of Bernie Mac might have been choreographed by invisible orchestrators. The accusations are jolting. Purportedly, Mac's successes were not the result of authentic industry support, but rather a strategic maneuver to exploit his abilities for financial advantage. Katt Williams spared no words in articulating the covert manipulation that could have played a role in concluding Bernie Mac's story on a tragic note. Furthermore, he shed light on how Hollywood elites manipulate the storyline to suit their own agendas.
How it ended up, because sometimes the victors rewrite history, but by the same token, God is there for us, and sometimes his best gift to us is getting us out.
Another person who recently backed Katt Williams claims is Bernie Mac's own daughter, Janice McCullough. McCullough focused on Williams' expression of praise for her father while calling out comedians, namely Steve Harvey, who allegedly tried to slight Mac before he passed away at the age of 50 in 2008. She said,
I don't know Katt Williams. Never met him. That's one person I never did get to meet when my dad was alive. But from everything that I've ever heard my dad, say, he's always seemed like a stand-up dude. So I have no qualms, no quarrels with him.
McCullough said she has the utmost appreciation and respect for the Pimp Chronicles jokester for his remarks. I felt like it was genuine. There are some people who have given my dad his flowers now that he's dead that I'm looking at like, now doggone well you wasn't doing that when he was alive. And that's not just famous people, just people all across the board. She explained that Williams' praise for her father was proof that the late comedian was a man of integrity. It does my heart good that my dad was a stand-up guy. The man that I knew him to be was who he actually was to people, 'cause that's the thing. Like, we can love people and think they one way and find out later. McCullough continued, I just really appreciate what I believe is genuine love and respect that Katt Williams showed my father. She added that she is open to having a sit down with Williams. Knowing all that we know now, the question still remains, why did people like Oprah and Steve stay silent when Bernie was clearly struggling? The answer may lie in the powerful connections these figures hold within Hollywood. Oprah, a close friend of industry giants and rumored to attend exclusive gatherings, seemed to distance herself from Bernie during his most challenging years. Steve Harvey, on the other hand, has had his own struggles in Hollywood, but chose to align with the powerful rather than speak out. It's been revealed in past reports that Oprah and Diddy share connections with some of the most controversial figures in Hollywood, and Bernie's warnings about the parties align suspiciously with the rumors surrounding these Hollywood elite gatherings. As Katt Williams once hinted, perhaps Bernie's outspokenness was getting too close to the truth, a truth Hollywood's power players didn't want coming to light. From rejecting Hollywood's pressures to join their social elite to publicly refusing to play into questionable industry norms, Bernie made powerful enemies. And with Oprah and Steve silent on these issues, many are now questioning if they chose their loyalty to Hollywood over loyalty to a friend. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.
Rest in peace to Bernie Mac. He was one of the great ones, man. Golly, it's so many. God, I really think that they did something to Bernie to make him sick real slow. I mean, that's what's on my heart. You know what I'm saying? I think that Steve had a lot to do with the hate. And it's funny because Steve done got the Family Feud. He's with the older people, and the older people really like him. You know, he doing the Family Feud pretty good. That's about it. He could do a comedian type thing, and he got his radio show, so he good. That's about it. But is he funny? Nah, I mean, he kind of funny. He more of an adult, 59 and older type funny, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Katt Williams will make your stomach hurt, young. You know, anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think in the descriptions and the comments and all that stuff. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.